all set and all ready to go, as the thought just popped into my head to, again, record another TEW episode as we again look to document Golden Dreams 1981. As Golden Dreams has been housed by moments and memories over the years, including Sid Streets officially winning the World's Championship for the very first time, this time at this event last year, and accomplishing the dream that at some point nobody else thought he would ever actually be able to accomplish by beating Ray Kingman in the Southeast. But it is completely different tonight, as tonight it is Wildman Sullivan versus Mickey Starr for the World Heavyweight Championship. But if we go back to 79, if we go back to the first title defense of Ray Kingman, this was Ray Kingman's first title defense since defeating Mickey Starr for the SWF World Championship and becoming the first person to pin Mickey Starr for the world in a world title match in 6 years or 7 years. 7 years, actually. And this was his first title defense against Rick Rumble, following defeating Mickey Starr in the Steel Cage Classic. We go back to 1978 and Golden Dreams 1978. It was Mickey Starr versus Ray Kingman. Ironically enough, this was their first meeting. If I remember correctly, Ray Kingman sustained an injured wrist during the match, and the wrist was that injured that Ray was not able to finish the match. And this was also the first meeting of Mickey Starr and Wildman Sullivan. And now we go back to year one, the first Golden Dreams. It was Mickey Starr wrapped in a rivalry with the All-Star team, and Mickey Starr defeated Drake McWade to retain his SWF championship. The Deadly Gamble and the Blazing Flames in their earliest rivalry. But a lot has changed since 1977. A lot has changed since the very beginning, and not just the people, but their standing. Wildman Sullivan was challenging Mickey Starr for the World Championship in 1978, and now in 1981, after maintaining a 250-plus day reign as United States champion Wildman Sullivan defeated Sid Streets back in July at the Supreme Challenge in a champion versus champion match, where the United States champion became the world champion when Wildman Sullivan defeated world champion Sid Streets. And now, after 3 years ago, Mickey Starr and Wildman met at the challenge. 3 years later, they meet again, this time with opposites, with Mickey Starr being the challenger and Wildman being the champion. Mickey Starr has not challenged for the World Championship since early 1980, when he came up short in a rematch against Ray Kingman, as Ray Kingman was the champion for a majority of 1980. Thus far, honestly, I do believe this will be the first time that multiple people, more than 2 people, it's the first time that a trio will be champion. Well, it could be the first time that 3 people will be champion in 1 year, as Mickey Starr was the champion, Ray Kingman was the champion. And then Ray held the title until Sid held the belt, and then Sid held the belt until July 1981. But with me building up anticipation and building up excitement, let's instead jump into Golden Dreams 1981. Gavin Stardill, impressed in what was his first match as a member of the SWF roster. I just recently picked him up from APW. I honestly don't steal people much. For whatever reason, I jumped at the opportunity to steal him. And it might be his charisma. It might be the fact that he was popular in more than just one area and did not look like most people do, where most people are just popular in their one area. But this was not the open of the show. This was a pre-show match, so this was not actually his debut. His debut will more than likely come this week on Slamfest. This was the opening matchup as the Brooklyn Punk, who has been a thorn in the side of Clint Wayne and Sam Keith for the last couple of weeks. And Brooklyn Punk gets a victory over Sam Keith in the opening of the pay-per-view. And to give a backstory on this one, Brooklyn Punk has been challenging Clint Wayne. He challenged Clint Wayne. Clint Wayne was ready to accept the challenge, but instead, Sam Keith accepted the challenge to fight Brooklyn Punk. And Clint Wayne looked at him like, what the hell are you doing? So this is planting some seeds for potential tension between Sam Keith and Clint Wayne, but also giving the Brooklyn Punk a much-deserved platform, because honestly, Brooklyn Punk is a capable person, a capable athlete, and somebody I could invest in, but I just feel like something's missing. And somebody might say, well, an AI-generated photo, but I think there's more than that. I think there's more than that what is missing, or that being all that is missing. But either way, Brooklyn Punk is getting an opportunity to challenge Clint Wayne for the television championship. But all I'm going to say is there's more to the story with Clint Wayne, Brooklyn Punk, and Sam Keith. Sam Strong is ready to defend the title for, I believe, his second occasion, or for his second defense. This night against Angus McLeod. And Sam Strong is talking about the 6-man tag team match that main evented a recent episode of Slamfest, when Sam, Mickey Starr, and Cade Roberts fought Wildman Sullivan, Dredd, and Angus McLeod in a 6-man to main event a recent episode of Slamfest, which the heels won. The heels being Wildman, Angus, and Dredd. But Blackjack steps up in the second match, defeating Bob Burnham in what is more than likely going to be Bob's last match in SWF before he heads back to WSW. And now we move to an interesting segment, as Ken Cullen, I believe in late 1979, announced that this year, 1981, he announced in late 1980 that 1981 would be his last full year as an active wrestler, that being Ken Cullen. And now Blackjack is not teasing retirement. Is not saying he's going to retire, but instead teasing retirement, saying that he has a handful of things that he would like to do before he hangs up the boots, but he realizes his best years are behind him, and that he may not have much time left. I will say the plan for Blackjack's year was going to be very different. It was going to be very different, but because of certain things happening, namely Ace McQueen getting injured, it couldn't happen. So we had to take it in a different direction, and now we are approaching the end of the year with Blackjack spending most of the year with Marcus McKing, and things going in a different direction for him now. Ray Kingman is still on the hunt to end the All-Star team and is not going to stop fighting, even with the numbers being against him every step of the way. He is not going to stop fighting until Coach is groveling at his feet for forgiveness. And the fact is, Ray Kingman will not stop until he defeats every member of the All-Star team and sends the All-Star team packing. Speaking of Ray Kingman, Max Fury, and this is a rematch from the first of the month, or the first episode of the month, when Ray Kingman and Max Fury fought one-on-one on Slamfest, and Max Fury won with the help of Coach Dick Pangrazio. And now the help of the coach hurt Max Fury. It hurt Max Fury because Coach is the reason why Max Fury gets disqualified. What we also saw in the first Slamfest is the possibility of potential tension between Larry Grubbs, who has been the understudy of Coach Pangrazio for the last couple of years. Larry Grubbs may be taking. Larry Grubbs has been the personal manager of Max Fury for the last year or two, and with Coach wanting Max Fury to take care of Ray Kingman, Larry Grubbs took exception, and now with Coach being the reason why Max Fury lost, Larry Grubbs may take exception again. But Angus McLeod shows why I paired him up with Aries, as Aries and Angus put together what has been one of the best segments I've seen in quite a long time, an 86 overall as they build up right alongside with Sam Strong, their United States title defense, or their United States title match later tonight, which has been on the back burner since the six-man 2 weeks ago, which, I mean, honestly is not that big a deal, but, you know, what are you going to do? But either way, quite a match by Slater White, as Slater White outperformed Frank Rock, but it was a hard-hitting affair, as you would expect, and Frank Rock got the victory to advance in the Fall Classic, which the Fall Classic will be addressed a little bit more later in the card, because there's another match within the Fall Classic tournament. I have to say this, and I mean this without fail and without question, Athena, it's the second time Athena has gotten an 80, and it's the second time she has impressed me 100 times over. The fact of the matter is, she has come along so well, better than I could have expected, and she has been amazing to the nth degree. I applaud her for everything she has done and how far she's come along, and it's impressive that now she's getting as good as Sid does with the segments, when she is half as popular as Sid is. She's in the mid-60s, Sid is in the mid-80s, so it is impressive how well she's done, and just how much being in segments with Aries, her father, Sid, her husband, Rocky, Dusty, and so many other people that are good talkers, how much that has benefited her. Speaking of Rocky and Dusty, they are talking up their match with the Flames, but specifically they are talking about how much Joey and Teddy have changed since the last time Rocky and Dusty fought Teddy and Joey in 1979 at King of the Squared Circle, when Dusty broke his neck. That was the last time those two teams fought each other, and they get the rematch tonight against one another. And in an exceptional match, and I will explain this without fail, I will explain the reason why this happened, and it is because two reasons. Reason number one is because Sam Strong just won the title back in August, and I did not want to make him drop the title like that. He earned a better reign as the champion, and I did not. Honestly, the other reason is because I don't do time limit draws that often, and honestly, setting a rule of thumb that if that match can't go over 15 minutes, a championship match can't go over 15 minutes, But then this opens the door for different gimmick matches to take place for the rematch in November. But that's the thing. There is going to be a rematch with Sam and Angus. And of course, it's going to be for the United States Championship. But I am impressed that those two did as well as they did. You want to talk about impressive, though? There's nothing impressive about this because that is what I expect from Richie and Coach. As Coach just looks at the camera with a scowl on his face, and Richie with another scowl imitating his father, and Coach says, Ray Kingman thinks he was the leader of the All-Star team. Ray Kingman thinks he's the reason he won the world title. He's the reason why he headlined all those shows. He's the reason why he made all that money. And the reality of the situation is, Ray Kingman, I'm the reason you became world champion. I'm the reason why you headlined all those shows and made all that money. I'm the reason why you became a household name around here, and you had the nerve to be ungrateful to me for making you who you are. And the fact is, if you think you're going to take what I built away from me because you want to be ungrateful, I will make you go back to the irrelevant member of Supreme that you were before I plucked you out of obscurity and made you a star. This match, by far, 100%, was the toughest match to book. The reason why this match was the toughest match to book is, just to give you a backstory, the One Percenters picked a fight with Hagar and Cronus. That was a mistake. But Hagar and the One Percenters took advantage of Cronus being by himself on the B show because Hagar legitimately cannot be on the B shows because of his contract. So they attacked Mayhem, and Knight Rider attacked Cronus with chains, bloodied him up, beat him down, and left him at less than 100% on the B show, which pushing an A-level feud on the B show is something I never do. And with the fact that all three of these guys are major stars, the fact that I actually did something out of character for myself shows how much my perception of this game has changed and how much I value doing what is best for the overall story over what is best for the A show. The fact of the matter is, the reason why this match was so hard to pick a winner is because Hagar wouldn't let me. And that is not an exaggeration. Hagar willingly would not take the loss. Cronus, who is more popular, would take the loss. It was fitting, though, because Cronus was injured and not at 100%. So, logically, it made more sense for Cronus to take the fall. But now, my question is, where do we go from here? Well, honestly, Cronus is going to come out of this smelling like a rose. Why? Because he did what I wanted him, he did what I asked him to do. I wanted a favor to make these guys a little bit better, because the fact that Mayhem and Knight Rider have been doing as well as they've been doing is, again, just as impressive as Athena, just as impressive as Sam Strong, just as impressive as Romeo Hart before he got injured. The fact of the matter is, so many people this year have been impressing me that I wanted to make them better off. And the best way to make them better off is by winning this matchup, especially because they lost on Slamfest. Mayhem lost to Hagar. But then that led to Cronus, again, not being 100%, appearing, setting the fight. This match, Cronus was not at 100%. And that cost Hagar and Cronus and allowed them, the One Percenters, to have the advantage. But then, of course, when you have four big behemoths fighting each other, the fight ain't gonna stop just because the bell rang. And again, the fight doesn't stop just because the bell rings. The fight keeps going for a little bit after the match. But again, Cronus is not 100%, so this fight, this brawl at the end of the match, again, drops Cronus's health down a little bit more. It drops his health down a little bit more because he is even further away from being 100% by not leaving well enough alone and walking away and keeping the fight going with Knight Rider and Mayhem, and Hagar doesn't help encouraging him. Now we move back to the segments as Joey and Teddy heard Dusty and Rocky earlier say how much they've changed, and Joey and Teddy take that personally. They ask Babbitt, how much? What did we trade? How much have we changed? If anything, we've gotten better. Because the one thing we traded was being in the shadow of Mickey Star. Now we are on our own, and we are the world tag team champions. We are the best damn tag team around, and these championships prove it. These titles prove it. We traded being in the shadow of Mickey Star, and it helps Mickey because Sam Strong is just so damn good at being in his shadow that there was only room for him, not for us. And we don't mind because we now have the spotlight all to ourselves. And now we move to the tag team title match as the Flames go against Dusty and Rocky in the rematch from King of the Squared Circle 1979 when Dusty broke his neck. And of course, it is one of the best matches on the show because you would not expect anything less from these guys. And the fact of the matter is, if Dusty did not have a stale gimmick, the match probably would have gotten in the 80s. Okay, so I'm gonna actually take a little second to change his gimmick and invest a little time into changing his gimmick, not just tweaking it, because it is a poor gimmick, so I think he needs a complete repackage. But we are back to going through the show. And here we go. After the match, not satisfied, the Flames knock Rocky Streets to the outside and attempt to pile drive Dusty. The Spike Pile Driver is banned in SWF. The Spike Pile Driver is banned in SWF. And the fact of the matter is, Dusty Streets is on a surgically repaired neck. So, even though the pile driver is a dangerous move in itself, the fact that the Flames are attempting to pile drive Dusty Streets on his surgically repaired neck shows how gutless they are and how cowardice they are that they are willing to attempt to end the career of someone that they've shared the ring with multiple times over the last almost decade in Supreme. But thank God for Hollywood Mike Kinsey and Blackjack for running out and helping send the Flames away, and send them away they did Hollywood and Blackjack saving Dusty Streets just as Rocky gets in the ring to make sure the Flames are gone, and help up his son, stopping the Flames from attempting to break his neck. But now the only question is, Hollywood does have unfinished business with the Flames. Blackjack always has unfinished business with the Flames because over the years, the hottest feud in the company, 100%, was 1979, the summer into the fall, into the winter, finishing with the Flames versus Deadly Gamble, Blackjack and Ace McQueen. It finished in December, where the losing team could not team together for the entirety of 1980, and the Flames ended Deadly Gamble for an entire year. And after Ace McQueen's injury in early 1981, the Deadly Gamble still have not able to be reformed because of the match in 1979. Now the question is, what happens next? What happens next? We move to the other match involved in the Fall Classic tournament as Lance Rush defeats Madman McManus. The Fall Classic tournament is, as you saw, I think you saw earlier, did Rick Rumble not compete? I don't think Rick Rumble actually fought tonight. But Rick Rumble is the New England champion, and as the New England champion, Rick Rumble needs a new challenger. The new challenger for Rick Rumble will be determined by the winner of the Fall Classic tournament. Madman McManus, Frank Rock, Marcus McKing, and Marcus McKing and someone else whose name is slipping my mind are the final four in the tournament at this point, with Madman and Frank Rock advancing tonight at Golden Dreams. Speaking of Marcus McKing declares himself the uncrowned king, basing his gimmick all around royalty, and he says that it's about time I take my throne and show the man that I've been meant to be since I got here in SWF. I've been destined to be. That's the word, destiny. Claiming to be his it is claiming to be his destiny to be New England to be champion in Supreme. Now we move to an interesting segment, because on a recent episode of Slamfest, I believe it was week 1 actually, the same week that Ray Kingman and Max Fury first fought, Athena saw her husband in a back and forth brawl with Kimberly and Luke Curtis. Athena's husband, again, by the way, is Sid Streets. It was Sid and Athena against Kimberly and Luke. In the fracas, Luke gets knocked down. Athena and Kimberly are fighting. Kim goes down. Luke gets up, has flash paper, throws a fireball, but Sid pushes Athena out of the way and takes the fireball instead of his wife. Sid goes down, face charred, blinded by the fireball from Luke Curtis. And now Athena, the mind games are getting to her. Her husband got blinded. Not 100% there. Clearly shaken. Athena loses. Of course, it's an angle because Athena's not going to put over Kimberly, but you get my point. It's for the story. It's for the bigger picture, as I always say. Mike Kinsey steps in, and he has his pay-per-view match. As Mike Kinsey, if anybody is at the top of the list, if I could do a top 5 of people that have impressed me this year, Mike Kinsey would be on it. I had doubts about Mike last year when he was feuding with Wildman Sullivan, but this year those doubts have dissipated and gone away, and Mike has impressed me every step of the way. Mickey Starr is back to challenging for the World Championship for the first time in over a year, because he spent from the fall of 1980 till the summer of 1981 feuding with the Flames alongside Sam Strong. And speaking of Wildman and Dread, and Antonio Moretti tells Wildman in the interview booth, if you think you're going to have Dread at ringside, you got another thing coming, because nobody from the Goldstein office can be at ringside with you. We're going to have a winner one way or the other. And Mickey Starr gets his next reign as world champion. Mickey Starr becomes the first person in SWF history to win the title twice, ending the reign of Wildman Sullivan. And for the first time in about a year, because I believe it was September Yes, it was September 1980 when Wildman won the United States title. So for the first time in a year, Wildman Sullivan does not hold gold in SWF. But Mickey Starr is back as world champion. But I can tell you, his time with the Goldstein office is not over yet. But we had a solid pay-per-view. Again, if I had to make the list, it would be Athena, it would be Hollywood, Ray Kingman, Knight Rider, Mayhem. And if I couldn't, and if I didn't need to put them together, Knight Rider and Mayhem, I would 100% give Sam Strong that fifth spot. It's not in any particular order. If I did want to put it in a particular order, it'd be Ray Kingman, Sam Strong, Athena, probably Hollywood, and then Knight Rider, the one percenters. But the fact of the matter is, Athena is still one of, right with Ray Kingman, right with Kronos. Kronos impressed me that he actually put over the one percenters willingly. It was, I'm not going to say it was one for the bigger picture, because here's the thing. Here's the thing with that pay-per-view. Some of that was for the bigger picture. Some of it wasn't. We got 114,000 views, or pay-per-view buys. But yes, some of it was for the bigger picture, some of it wasn't. Either way, though, if you want more content just like this from TEW, drop a like and subscribe, because I'm done for the day, and I will see you in the next one.